So what's up, YouTube? Back at it again. Another topic. Men are man's worst enemy. Yes, we are. We are worst enemy. We men shame other men for being broke, but it said don't leave with your money. We tell other men to, be leaders, but don't yell at your woman. We tell men to be stoic, but be most intelligent. You need to make sure the woman is taken care of in all of her emotions. And it's a pretty bad situation in that point because now a man can't be a man. We are our worst enemies. And this is where, we tend to fall short in a lot of these cases. This is why it's so hard to get one unified way in dealing with women, right? We have different strokes for different folks. And this is here the king, Mr. Sherrod Bracey, the king. The king.
No, it's just like a robot. Let me see, try again.
How about now?
It got a little bit better. Let me see if I can.
All right, all I'm saying is this. You're right. But my point wasn't saying that I got more people to believe me as opposed to you. What I'm saying is
bravado that comes out. There's a level of
the reason how we know y'all understand this, the reason why we know y'all understand is because somebody can say what's good to you, and that could mean a multiple of things. Just because somebody said what's good, we recognize that when we talk to other men, and y'all expect that the way how you speak to a man, you're supposed to speak to your woman the same way how you speak to men. You say, I'm egregious, I'm assertive. This is not how you're supposed to speak to the person that you love.
Brother, and I'm gonna go. Can you hear me now?
If your kid comes to scream,
yeah, we can hear you.
Go and scream and yell back at your kid. You say, "Hey, child of mine, what's going on? Why are you screaming at me? Why are you speaking to me this way?" Or you seem like people agree with you. That's what they say. This is not a okay.
I think y'all both right in a way. Y'all just don't.
So what I'm saying is this. You brought up the followers. I was just having a conversation about what was going on. I did not bring up the followers.
No, you said this is what you said. You said you had one person agree with you. I had hundreds agreeing with me. That's what you said. See,
perfect. Pause it right there. But so stop
brother.
right there.
You brought, make you
so
feel.
hold on. So this is what I'm saying. This is what you're missing.
That's what you said.
This is the part that you're missing in the conversation. Hold on.
Can I just say this?
Hold on. This is the part that you hold on. You brought in that fact. I didn't bring up the fact that these people was agreeing with me versus not agreeing with you. You said
that's what you was inferring, though.
It's because you have an audience that you cater to, and that those people that you are catering to agree with you is the reason why you think that you are right. You brought that into the conversation. Then you said, I had a woman last night write me a long whatever, and that she was agreeing with me. So you brought that component
just
into the conversation, and all I'm doing was reacting to your conversation. I'm listening to your words and I'm reacting to it, but every time I react to it, you want to move past it because I'm
it's a game. It's called back and forth. You jab, I'm a hook. It's a duel. It's that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not supposed to do something you see coming. It's a debate. So if you going low, you going for the body shot. I'm going for the chin. That's how it goes. So we dueling right now. So you're not supposed to see what I'm doing coming. That's the point. You're not supposed to see it. I'm not projecting you have a box, you don't supposed to telegraph your punches. See, y'all punches is telegraphed, and I'm on some Mayweather shit. But that's irrelevant. What I'm saying is it's all objective and subjective, brother. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm not saying you do. It's subjective. It's all I'm saying. But like I said, brother, I fucks with you. I respect that you stand on your stance and you know how to talk without disrespecting people. I do too, but I guess because I got bass in my voice and I talk a little more authority, some people ain't gonna do it, but I ain't everybody's cup of tea and I ain't trying to be. Most people that rock the world are not everybody's cup of tea. but when they leave an impact. So what I'm saying is, I respect your panel. I respect your show. I fuss with you. We're going to chop it up again. You're going to cook up. You know what I'm saying? You know I'm going to come back. But like I said, this ain't no tit for tat thing, because at the end of the day, I feel like we both agree on what matters, which is elevating and being better men and women. And if we can agree on that, then everything else is really small nuances, entertaining and all of that. But it's all about the bigger picture. And I think we both agree on that. So with that being said, bro, I'm gonna drop down.
And welcome to the show. Good day, sir. Good day.
Hey,
Oh shit.
Yo, peace and love, man. First of all, Cuzzo, let me take my shoes off before I walk into this room. Peace and love to the beautiful queen, the supreme goddess, PH Diva. Peace and love to you.
Peace and love.
Peace and love to the other beautiful queen on the panel, Claudette, Weezy. Peace and love to you. And peace and love to all the beautiful queens in the chat, man. Anya Bracey, the SBG First Lady, Robin M, DB, Sugar Bump, Maya Reed.
Hold on,
my name is Weezy. My name is Weezy, baby. Okay? All right, I'm sorry. I'm going in.
Bomb Cherry Juice, Rogue C, it's me, Dr. G, Sexy Red TV, Conversations with MJ, Jalen, Genesis, Victorious One, Fantasy Island Girl, the Verbal Assassin, the Voice of Venus, the Sorrel Show, M Mills, all the queens, man, all the queens. Can't forget about none of the queens. Every time I hit this platform, I'm gonna make it my business to lift y'all up, give y'all flowers, and show these men, show these knuckleheads how they should be treating the ladies, the queens, and the women on this platform, man. And peace and love to the kings. Can't forget about the kings as well, man. And as far as this topic, Cuzzo, you hit the nail on the head, man. But I want to preface my remarks by saying this, right? It was a great show last night, Philosophical. Shout out to Illa for hosting the conversation. I rock with Illa, right? Reason why I rock with Illa is because I think he's genuine. I think he's unapologetically himself. And I think that he's,
off.
He's just trying to figure things out, right? He's trying to figure things out, right? Nevertheless, he is a rim brother. To his own words, right? He's a red pill man, right? And I articulated last night that the red pill men, the incel men, and the manosphere men, they all communicate in a similar fashion, right? And it was played out in real time last night, right? So it was two things that I picked up on from Illa last night, right? Basically from the exchange between Illa and HQ, and then the exchanges between Illa and the ladies that was in his chat.
Hey, cuz, right? you see his new name?
Rimosophical.
hey, Brownsville, can I ask, like, what's your definition of a rim brother? Because you came to my panel.
So much.
I mean,
Thank you. Jeez.
So first of all, Cuzzo, you were 100% correct when you say that Illa lacks self-awareness, right? And also, I believe that he just doesn't understand what women expect from men in a conversation, right?
This is part of our division. This is why us men are so divided. We can't come together. What's up, Lord ADS? Welcome to the show, sir. We men can't come together on what is a way that we should be courting or dealing with our women. So we are kind of our arch enemy, right? We got one man saying do it this way. We got another man saying doing it this way. Then we got these other men saying they're doing it that way. Then we got the married men saying do it my way, right? So because we have no one ideology on men on how we are to deal with our women so that we can be at least, a unified group, we all are kind of divided on how do we be men and make our homes better. And because we don't have one ideology, we're divided and we fight each other. We fight each other a lot. And this is a problem.
So let's deal with the first point real quick, right? He had a conversation with HQ. And within that conversation, HQ told him directly, hey, you're coming across to me as if you're being condescending, as if you're demeaning me as a woman, right? And we got to understand this. Illa set the tone, right? Because what he did was he said, listen, I want the woman to come on a panel, but if you come on a panel, you need to cam up, right? She acquiesced to that. If you come on a panel, I'm not dealing with no foolishness. I'm not dealing with no disrespect. You're going to listen to me. I'm going to listen to you, right? He set the rules of engagement and she complied with all of them. HQ came on a panel. She was meek. She was humble. She was very agreeable, right? The same way these men say they want all the women to be, right? But then at the same time, he talked to HQ as if he would talk to the Supreme Goddess PhD.
Wait a minute.
It's no different, right? No different in the way he wants to communicate, right? Only reason why I said that, Supreme Goddess, is we know and understand that you are not afraid to come up here and share your opinion. You're not afraid to come up here and be assertive and aggressive the same way these men are being, right? We get that. And they saying they don't like that approach. They say they don't like that approach, right? Okay. But when a woman comes on a panel with the opposite approach, they still talk to that woman as if they're talking to you. So then it creates confusion in the minds of women, like, hey, what do y'all want, right? So she told him directly, hey, you're being condescending, you're being demeaning. And he's telling her, well, I don't care about how you feel.
Condescending. What does that mean, right? If a person has confidence in the way they want to speak to somebody and they speak it with direct and they have intentional knowledge on what they're speaking, that's perfectly okay. That's not condescending, right? But I guess when one says one is condescending, they're saying that you need to be beneath me, not above me. That is basically what they're saying to you. You need to be beneath me, not above me.
Talk about the words that I said, right? And then he brought up, he said, well, women just don't understand how to conversate with masculine men, right? It's crazy. My masculinity that you're intimidated by as a woman, and I don't have to cater to your feelings. You should just understand what I'm saying, and if I'm not being disrespectful with my words, even though he was, because he told her that she was confused, he told her that she was immature, etc., right?
Damn.
But it was wild.
I missed that part. I was asleep.
In his mind, he's just being masculine, right?
It's if he grew up with a daddy. Because a lot of times the men who grew up without their father, they don't really know what masculine is. So it's like a lot of cosplaying, some shit that they seen on TV or something like that.
Masculinity? What do you mean? A man don't know what it means to be masculine when being masculine is part of his nature. There's nothing you have to learn to be masculine. You know how to fight. That's men. We are masculine by nature. Now, there are different levels of personalities within us men, but we are still masculine. We still exude masculinity just by being a man, automatically, period. There is no prerequisite.
Right. And so I'm going to break it down, right? Because when we talk about masculinity, right, we're talking about men and a competitive nature of men, right? So we learn this competitive nature early on, right? On the playground, in school, on a football field, etc., etc. When men get around men, there's a competitive nature that comes out. There's a sense of bravado that comes out. There's a level of aggression and assertion that just comes out, right? Because you got to show these other men that you're just as an alpha male as them. You're just as competitive as them. And you're not going back down from them, right? That's how men conversate with men. That's how men, move with other men, right? And yes, that's what makes you masculine. But the misconception is that we're supposed to exert our masculinity over women. And that's wrong, right? Because when masculinity meets femininity, it brings balance, right? So we shouldn't feel compelled to be competitive with our women. We shouldn't feel compelled to compare ourselves to our women, right?
Nobody's competing. But when your woman is, when you're trying to speak to your woman and she's been combative and not being, a good listener or being very, I would say, very combative, this is not us competing by trying to put her in check. Putting your woman in check or trying to get your woman in check so that this conversation can be healthy is not competing. And we should know this as men, that because women invest heavily in their emotions and their feelings, sometimes we have to over talk them. Sometimes we have to talk to them in a more forward way so that we can get them to listen, because logic and emotions sometimes bump heads. And so therefore, when she's in her emotions and she's not thinking clearly, we men have to try to override those emotions by putting her on a logical playing field so that we can have a solution. This is not competing. We're not competing we're not competing. Matter of fact, no man wants to compete with the woman in any form because it's too easy, right? We don't want to compete with women at all. That's why they separate sports. That's why men display chivalry, to show the women we're not competing with you. We don't compete with our women. We are trying to have the conversation and get it on point through all these emotions. And that's what it is.
Right? And when our woman is communicating certain things to us, because we got to understand, when men have conversations with men, we can be direct. We don't have to worry about our tone. We don't have to worry about how we're delivering our words, right? We don't have to be empathetic with how you feel. Listen, I'm a man, you a man. This is what I say. This is how I feel. You tell me how you say, you tell me how you feel, and let's go from there. But no, when you're conversating with a woman listen for intent. They listen to how you're delivering your conversation. They listen to the tone of your voice. And they're also listening to see if you're being empathetic to how your words are making them feel. And all masculine men, all real masculine men understand that difference, that distinction, right? It's a balancing act, right? You don't have nothing to prove over your woman, right? So there's no need to put her in an inferior place or put her in a place to where she's feeling unprotected or unheard, right?
Nobody's doing this. Don't nobody want to put the woman in unprotected, make them feel unprotected. What we are trying to accomplish or establish is a fruitful line of communication. That's what a man is trying to do with women. And this is why us men are our worst enemies. Because when the women complain about equality and wanting to be heard, we have other men pouncing on us saying, well, you know, she needs to be heard. You need to make her feel protected. So if she calls you a bitch ass nigga, you're supposed to make her feel protected. If she says you ain't shit, you broke ass nigga, then we're supposed to make her feel protected. But we're not supposed to stand up for ourselves. We're not supposed to try to get us on a healthy footing, right? We're not supposed to try to make our conversation healthy. That's not what we're supposed to do with other men. Other men, if your woman does that, you need to be, you need to step back. So this is a problem. This is the problem. This is a very big problem.
You don't gain anything from that, being a masculine man and showing that you can dominate a woman, right?
You don't get anything acting like a bitch either. Which is it, nigga? You act like a bitch or you act masculine? There's no gray area.
That's what these men don't understand, right? And Illa did that last night to HQ. He dismissed her feelings, even though she was clear in how she was saying his words was affecting her, right? Instead of him doing real-time self-reflection and saying, well, hey, how did you receive the delivery? Maybe I need to fix my delivery. Maybe I need to fix my tone. Maybe I need to be more empathetic in the conversation that I'm having so that I'm not making you feel a certain type of way. I'm not making you feel uncomfortable.
I don't think any man, particularly because obviously he's talking about somebody having a conversation with a woman on a platform. I don't think any man is trying to make a woman feel threatened or any form of, disrespect. It's just that sometimes we don't agree and we have to try to rein the conversation in to make it a healthy conversation. It's not competing, nor are we trying to make it an unsafe space.
I'm not making you feel like I'm being condescending, right? See, that's real manhood in real time when you're in a conversation with a woman, right? You don't have to exert your authority. The way you carry yourself, the way you move, the way you communicate, that's going to speak for your authority, right? And then women are going to naturally acquiesce to that, right? But you got to understand as a masculine man that balancing act and how women want to be communicated with. It's not pandering to women to uplift them, to make sure that they're feeling comfortable, to make sure that they're feeling better about themselves, right? To make sure that they're feeling heard and understood. That's not pandering, right? That's just being a real man, masculine man, dealing with a real feminine woman. That's what that is, right? But what Illa did, he did that to HQ, but then also the woman in his chat, right? It seems like they were emotionally triggering him. So he would pull up comments. He would pull up comments from the chat and post them. And you can tell
because I saw that part.
The change in his emotions in real time. Well, these effing women, they don't know what this, and it's like, whoa, you don't even see, you're not even aware that your emotions are being affected in real time based on comments of your chat, right? Because these women are disagreeing with the way you're expressing yourself to HQ, right?
Like, one of the things we often see, not to cut you off, but is that these men who have those type of views are typically lacking in emotional control. Because I saw that part too, and the nigga head eyes was about to pop out his head. Like, they already be moving around, but they was literally about to pop out of his head. And that's crazy. Even the way he can't let someone finish the sentence before he jumps in, right? It's a lack of emotional control. But they logical and stuff. So
right.
And what I failed to realize that he was doing it to me in real time as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was quiet and let him speak because I respect everybody's point of view, which is a thing that most people don't even like that I do. They're like, nah, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Most people don't even like that I allowed to have it. But in real time, as soon as I said 2 words that was that destroyed his recent point, he had to stop me and try to correct what he just said, because he cannot be on the losing side of the conversation.
But that's not a problem though. For me, Sharon.
But that's a telltale sign that people don't listen to these people in their real lives. When they can't sit there and hold a respectful dialogue and let you finish and actually listen to what you say rather than being chomping at the bit to respond, that's a telltale sign that nobody listens to them in their real life. Sorry, Brownsville, go ahead.
But what I'm saying is, Cuzzo, verbal jousting between men is okay to me, right? That's not out of bounds. So if he cutting off a man and he wants to be overly assertive and aggressive over his points, and he don't want to get his points out, that's just verbal jousting between men. And I get it, even though I understand what you're saying, Cuzzo. But when I'm talking about in terms of manhood, right? We see it on the basketball court. You can be playing basketball and there's somebody that's just going to be a little bit extra physical, put a little bit extra spice on all of their moves. And you're like, hey, bro, that ain't necessary. But we understand that's all a part of the game. Right?
So here's the problem with that, cuz. The problem is I had the ball and he's doing crossover moves, trying to do a layup without the ball. And that's what he's doing when he's interrupting. So like he is not playing the game properly. And this is the problem that I have with it, is that even when we're having a conversation, when he injects a certain scenario within the conversation, and then I respond to the conversation, then now he trying to make it another version of that conversation. Then I try to flip it on me, saying that I was the one that brought in the audience when he was the one that his main focus is the audience, not the actual conversation that we was having in between each other, because his words was getting cooked up in real time. So he had to revert to, it's because you are a Pandora.
Yeah, I mean, I get all that, right? They and listen, it's total misuse of the word, because pandering by definition is communicating immoral conversations to get some type of a benefit, right? So they're calling us panderers simply because we understand how to communicate with women, and we understand what women expect from men during communical exchanges, right? We get it, and we understand the old school ways, right? Listen, we show women chivalry, we open doors, we give them a baseline of respect, we uplift them, right? We're not interested in punching them down and pushing them down and all of those different kind of things that the Rim Brothers Spaces has pretty much propped up and made it okay, right? So when they talking about going back to traditional ways, they totally forget about traditional ways of communication, traditional ways of men treating women, right? As far as them not competing and comparing themselves to them, men giving the woman flowers, opening the doors, pulling the chairs out, walking on the outside of the road, putting them under protection. All those different kind of traditional things that men did in the past, right? All these so-called traditional men have these traditional expectations from women, but they're not willing to give the traditional manhood to these same women. To me, it's like hypocritical talking points, right? And then HQ hit the nail on the head. She said, listen, you communicate in the same manner that Ilkhan Ali communicates. And neither one of them could understand what she was talking about, right? Once again, she's talking about you not being conscious enough of your tone, your delivery, and lack of empathy when you're communicating with a woman. So if you're not conscious of those things,
See, this whole show and these guys are about taming men, right? About taming men and how we should be catering or acquiescing to women. This is their whole premise is. His whole rant is about how men need to bow down to women. And this is just not good for business, right? Because the more you try to acquiesce to women, the more they're going to challenge you. It's like being too nice, right? If you're too nice, people take kindness for weakness. And that's what it is, right? You can't sit here and say on one hand that, oh, you know, be respectful, be a man, be masculine. And then if a woman disrespects you, or I wouldn't say disrespect, if a woman let's say she's in an argument with you, where you guys are going back and forth, that, you know, you should kind of give her the win to cater to her ego. But they're basically preaching happy wife, happy life. That's what they're preaching. And this is where the happy wife, happy life came from, because men are telling other men, are shaming other men for being, you know, a leader, being assertive, being, you know, masculine. This is other men telling other men this. This is why it's so confusing to why overwhelmingly men can't have these conversations in good faith. Because everybody thinks of a man's position should be different from different perspectives. So, you know, this is just a really bad situation right now in this gender war. I don't think that being, I would say, acquiescent or catering to your woman's rhetoric, if she's wrong, she's fucking wrong. You need to check her.
They're automatically going to conclude that you're trying to demean them, or you're being condescending, or you're not trying to listen to understand them or hear them, or you don't value their opinion. You just value your opinion above them.
Bars. So
did he ever just cuss his ass out and get it over with?
No, so that was the beauty of it, right? Diva, she stayed in that frame, was just trying to get him to understand that you are continuously pushing me down with your remedial rhetoric. You are continuously attempting to silence me. You are attempting to make it seem like your words mean more than my words. Like, she kept trying to explain to her, and other people tried. And the real problem is what I'm understanding is that the men on the panel, they did not want to correct them.
Well, see, that's the thing.
Because they loved other men so much that they were scared and afraid to actually correct them and say, hey, brother, she said she felt offended by you calling her immature when she was acquiescing to what you're saying. When she was beautiful, smiling, happy. It looked like she had a couple of drinks. She came in there in a good mood, and you immediately changed her mood to she was about to be defensive. But she kept catching herself because she realized who she.
Yeah, because if you're gonna stand on business, you stand on business. Can't be worried about how one's smiling and emotion. No, you got to stand on business. If you have men are having gripe with women about their behaviors and the way they're representing men. So yeah, you're coming with a serious connotation, and she's smiling, all coming, thinking it's going to be a kumbaya session. You got another thing coming. We need to get to the meat of this, and we need to have this conversation. And a lot of women get offended when you come at them directly like that, because they're used to men bowing down to them.
She was talking to, she realized he was communicating the same way how Ali communicates, which is in a demeaning way. And even when I brought up the example that if somebody comes to you like, what's good with you? And then that person, and then now if Ida was to respond to me, hey, sir, do you want to fight me or something? He got up, and then that man says, I never said I wanted to fight you.
Right. But the reason why they don't understand that type of a comparison, right, is because they don't make a distinction between men and women. And that's the problem that I have, right? We've always understood that the same way we communicate with each other as men is totally different with the way we communicate with women, right? Totally different, right? Because we understand that women have different feelings and emotions than men, right? Women.
Not only that, cuz what they need to say is this, cuz I don't want to get better. I don't love myself enough to get better. I do not love myself enough to be the example for a community like I say I want it to be. I don't love myself enough to give. If a woman likes me, she must be a piece of shit because I'm still a piece of shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they don't love themselves enough to give a woman grace because they're not giving themselves grace in reality, because everything that he was attempting to accuse me of, he was actually doing it in real time. Sharon, you pandering. Sir, so what do you think you're doing? Sharon, you was concerned about, even though I had one woman that texted me last night with this long, you were doing it in real time. You were using somebody else to validate you, and I did not do it. I'm having a verbal conversation with you in real time on the words that you are saying. I'm holding you accountable on your words, and you do not want to take the accountability. That your words is demeaning other human beings. The way how you communicate.
Yeah, this is why we are fighting each other. We fight each other over a man being a man. And long as we fight over each other over a man being a man, we ultimately will succumb to the waves of women. Good night.